What's up, Diglets? I hope you had a great MLK weekend. I know I didn't. So I know I'm a little late to the game, but I wanted to talk about what's been going on with the Hornets and just talk through all the offseason double dribbles that's happened. Right off the bat, I think the Charlotte Criminals have had the worst offseason ever in NBA history, with 3 of their players, 2 former players now, having been arrested and, fun fact, winning 0 games in the preseason. Right now, they are the worst team in the East, holding a record of 11 wins and 34 losses at this time, with only the Rockets trailing by 1 less win and loss. I think at this point, we're all thinking they're trying to go after that French KD-Giannis hybrid Stifle Tower. Fuck Rudy Gobert, I don't give a rat's ass. But there's been some recent talks about Miles Bridges, who is now a restricted free agent, talking with the Hornets about potentially agreeing on a future contract with the Hornets, even though his case continues to remain under investigation by the league. There hasn't been any clarity as to how long he'll be suspended, but it looks like there is a very great possibility he will be returning to the league in the near future. And come on now, I'm not trying to get canceled like Malika Andrews with her take on Ime Udoka, but the situation is very different, and I think we can all agree that what he did was absolutely sickening, not only what he did to his wife, but the pain he brought on his children. And I really don't want to see him in the league for a long-ass time, but I know from many previous cases surrounding professional athletes, this won't be likely. In addition to Miles Bridges off court, the Hornets had other players acting like absolute tards, including Montrezl Harrell, who was actually the first to start off this train wreck of events to come. Now, Harrell is no longer with the Hornets, but when he was with the Hornets, news came out that he had had drug trafficking charges placed on him, which were eventually dropped. Okay, cool. He ended up signing with the Sixers, but then second-year player James Bucknight, who, by the way, looks like an insect or like a rodent or a hybrid of the two. Let me know what y'all think. But he was arrested and charged with a DUI, which is never a good sign, especially for such a young and talented player. But going back to the beginning of the offseason, so as many people know, Kenny Atkinson, who is now an assistant coach on the Warriors, was in talks to become the Hornets' new head coach, or he was hired to be the head coach. You know, he was their guy. He was the key of digging the Hornets out of the rut they've been in since 2004. So Kenny, my man Kenny, he dodged a humongo fucking bullet because his spidey senses were telling him something. And you know what? Those spidey senses did him good. Because when he ended up backing out as head coach, a few days later, Miles Bridges was arrested for felony domestic violence. So not only do the Hornets have head coach and star player issues, but they consistently do terrible in the draft. And this is seen in the 2022 NBA draft when they traded away Jalen Duren for not a whole lot in return. And on top of that, LaMelo at the beginning of the season was injured, and I believe he was injured recently, but just made his return. Okay, so that was a lot. So we know Miles completely fumbled the bag. Bucknight and Harrell were having some issues with the law. The head coach situation went to shit. Their morale, I feel, completely turned upside down, not only when the whole wife beater thing happened, but every subsequent step that happened before that. The Hornets were going down inevitably. And it's funny because you look at their roster, right? They've got LaMelo, they've got a vet in Gordon Hayward, they've got a young talent in PJ Washington and Terry Rozier, they've got a smart big man in Plumlee. Hell, they've even got Tsunami Hadi and Kelly Oubre Jr. Like, on paper, it looks all right. It doesn't look awful. But I think with everything that happened offseason, and like I said, the morale of the team, it just hasn't been up to par to where they were last season. It really seemed like last season the team had an identity and they were going to be something, but it really is sad to see the Charlotte Criminals come to this. Michael Jordan, you're still a billionaire, but there's something in that Charlotte water. I know this was a shorter video, but thank you for watching. See you later.